प्रेम से सुमापति महादेव की जय, वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय. On this beautiful night, my dear friends, on behalf of Bhaiji Ganesh and his entire family, on behalf of his wonderful Dulhin, we'd like to take this golden opportunity to welcome each and everyone as we say Aapka Swagat, Namaskar karta hu sab log. To all our devotees who've come from far and near, special welcome, blessings to each and everyone. To our wonderful gurus and our pandits who have associated in inviting the deities for prayers and puja on this beautiful afternoon. To all the guru pandits who are here, as I touch your feet, namaskaram. I pay prostrations to you all. To all those who've taken a moment to join in chants earlier, to the members of the Kirtan Mandali, we especially thank you all for your wonderful bhajans. To Bhaiji Randi, Devi, beautiful chant. We pray that the Divine Lord will continue to bless both of you and your entire family as well. To my brother Pandit who has come to join, Bhaiji, let me say namaskar, a special welcome to you once more on this beautiful night. May our Lord richly bless you and your wonderful family as well. And to each and everyone who has sacrificed your time, your efforts, your energy to be here, on behalf of this beautiful family and on behalf of Bhaiji Ganesh, we say Swagatam and a cordial welcome. To all those who are tuned in around the world via Facebook and YouTube, welcome to our Yajna on this beautiful night. For at this time, without further ado, let us all sit upright. Let us close our eyes. We're about to join in beautiful prayer, mantras, invocation mantras, as we invite the presence of the devatas to guide us and to protect us all. We begin with Omkar 3 times. Adorations to Lord Ganesha, for he is known to be the remover of all the obstacles from our pathways. He is known to be worshipped first and foremost in every prayer, in every yajna, and in every offering. Adi Pujam Ganadhyaksham Uma Putram Vinayakam. Prostrations to you, Lord Ganapati. Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvighanam Kurumi Deva Sarvakajeshu Sadvara Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Durga Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Lakshmi Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Ya Devi Sarvabhuteshu Saraswati Rupena Samstita Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Namastasya 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 Namo Namaha Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Om Namah Shivaya Jai Girijapati Deen Dayala Sada Karat Santana Pratipala Hara Hara Jai Shankara Om Hara 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 ओम हर हर, एक बार बोलिए, हर हर जय शंकर, ओम हर हर। As we begin this beautiful night, adorations to Lord Hanumanji. For today is a day dedicated to Pavanaputra, the most mighty and powerful one. And as we worship his form and invoke his energy, we are about to pray to Mahaviri Swami. He is called Bala Bodhi Vidya, the Lord of strength, virtues and courage and wisdom. And as we invoke his energy on this beautiful night, friends and bhaktas, we are praising our Lord to once more guide us on the right path, to remove negativities and temptations, to allow our minds to be firm in the energy of our Lord. Pranava Pavana Kumar Kalabana Pavaka Jnana Dhara Jasurdaya Basahi Rama Sarachapadhan Atulita Baladhamam Ema Shailabadeham Dhanuzavana Krishanam Jnani Namagradanyam Sakala Gunanidhanam Varnaranamadesham Raghupati Priyabhaktam Vatajatam Namami Ulyanya Sindhu Salilam Salilam Yashokavare Janakatmajaya Ajanate Neva Dadalanka Namamitam Pranjalyajaleyam Manojavam Marutatulyavegam Jitindriyam Buddhimatam Varishtam Vatatmajam Vanaruttamukam Shri Ramadutam Sharanam Prabhati Om Shri Hanumate Namaha Om Shri Hanumate Namaha Om Shri Hanumate Namaha. As we begin this beautiful night, 40 verses of the Shri Hanuman Chalisa. Shri Guru Charana Sarojara Nijamana Mukura Sudha Varna Raghuvara Vimala Jasu Jodaya Kupalachar Buddhi Natanu Janike Sumirao Pavana Kumar Bala Buddhi Vidya Deho Mohi Arahu Kalesha Vikar. All together tonight as we join in the 40 verses of the Shri Hanuman Chalisa with one voice, Sabko Pyari, Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki, Bajrangbali ki Jai! Jai Ho! Jaya Hanuman Jnana Guna Sagar Jaya Kapishati Loka Udagar Ramadutta Tulita Baladhama Anani Putra Pavana Sutanama Mahavira Vikaram Bhajarangi Sumat Deva Sumat Ke Sangi Kancana Varana Viraj Suvesa Kanana Kundala Kunchita Kisa Mahavir Balavanta Mahavira Balavanta Jai Hanuman Mahavir Balavanta Pavana Putra Hanuman. Atavadra Gajaviraja Kadhe Monja Jale Osada Shankara Suvana Kesare Nandan Teja Pratapa Mahajagavandana बहादुर, प्रभु चरित्र सुनि देखो रसिया, राम लखन सीता मन बस, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। सूक्ष्म रूप धरि सियहि दिखावा, विकट रूप धरि लंक जरावा, भीम रूप धरि असुर संहारे, रामचंद्र के काज सवारे। लाए सजीवन लखन जियाए, वीर रघुवीर हर्षि उर लाए, रघुपति कीन्ही बहुत बड़ाई, तुम मम प्रिय भरतहि सम भाई, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। सहस वदन तुम रोज सगावे, हस कहि श्रीपति कंठ लगावे, संगातिक ब्रह्मादि मुनीसा, नारद शारद सहित रहीसा। यम कुबेर दिगपाल जहाती, कवि कोविद कहि सके कहाती, तुम पुकार सुग्रीव ही केहा, राम मिलाय राघव रति, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। जय श्री राम। तुमरो मंत्र विभीषण माना, लंकेश्वर भय सब जग जाना, युग सहस्र योजन पर भानु, दिव्यता की मधुर फल ध्यान। प्रभु मुद्रिका मिलि मुख माही, जगत लागे गए अचरज नाई, दुर्गमता जगत के जेते, सुगम अनुग्रह तुमरे तेते, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। जय बजरंगबली। राम द्वारे तुम रंगवारे, ओतरा आज्ञा फिर पैसारे, सब सुगल है तुम्हारे शरणा, तुम रक्षक गाहो तुम डरना। आपन तेज समारो आकै, दीनहो आँख देखा कै, भूत पिशाच निकट नहीं आवे, महावीर महावीर जब नाम सुनावे, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। नासे रोग हरय सब पीरा, जपत निरंतर हनुमत वीरा, संकट ते हनुमान छुड़ावे, हरदम वचन ध्यान जो लावे। सब पर राम तपस्वी राजा, जिनके काज सकल तुम साजा, और मनोरथ जो कोई लावे, सोई निज जीवन फल पावे, महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत, जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत, पवन पुत्र हनुमान। चारों युग परताप तुम्हारा, है परसिद्ध जगत उजियारा, साधु संत के तुम रखवारे, असुर निकंदन राम दुलारे। सिद्धि के दाता असबर दे ज्ञान के माता राम रसायन तुम्हारे पाता सदा रहो रघुपति के दास महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय श्री राम। तुम्हारे भजन राम को पावन जन्म जन्म के दुख बिसरावे अंत काल रघुवर पुर जाए जहाँ जन्म हरि भक्त कहाए और देवता चित्त न रही हनुमत से सर्व सुख करही संकट कटे मिटे सब पीरा जो सुमिरै हनुमत बल बीर महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान। सबको प्यारी जय बजरंगबली। जय 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 बोलो जय 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 हनुमान गुसाए कृपा करहु गुरुदेव की नाई उषत बार पाठ कर होए तुझहि बंदे महासुख होए जो यहाँ पर हनुमान चालीसा हुई सिद्धि साके गौरे सन तुलसीदास सदारि तेरा हृदय महादेव महावीर बलवंत महावीर बलवंत जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान। Glories to the Lord Shri Hanuman ji. जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान जय हनुमान महावीर बलवंत पवन पुत्र हनुमान। पवन पुत्र हनुमान पवन पुत्र हनुमान पवन पुत्र हनुमान पवन पुत्र हनुमान पवन तनय संकट हरण मंगल मूर्ति रूप राम लक्ष्मण सीता सहित हृदय बसहो सुरभो पवन सुत हनुमान की बजरंगबली की। I want to hear Jai powerful enough to shake this whole yajna. You ready, Bhaiji Ganesh? Bajrangabali ki Jai Narayan. Beautiful. On this wonderful night, once more, on behalf of Bhaiji Ganesh and his wonderful Dulahin, his beautiful family, we say Swagatam, Namaskar to each and everyone. As we begin this divine night with prayer, with devotion, we're about to dive in the golden pages of our Ram Manas, where we speak of the wonderful messages of our Lord Shri Prabhu Rama. But before we dive into these golden pages, it is said many a times when we are about to join in our pravachan, our katha, we must tune the mind in the right direction. Sometimes on a daily basis, we go through so many things. Maybe on our job, maybe in our personal life, maybe in our homes, maybe we had some argument before we came here. Maybe we know when we leave to go back home, we're going to go back in an argument. Maybe we are frustrated about job, about something in our personal life. Maybe an argument with a spouse or with a loved one. Maybe a problem with our children, something or the other. Maybe a health issue or a crisis that has come up. Today, Bhaktas, as we're about to dive into our golden pages, before we do so, Naam Sankirtana is very powerful. It is the way of constant repetition of the name of our Lord by chanting, so that we tune the mind in the right direction to forget the whole world and say, Prabhu, I have given you all my attention tonight now. I will allow you to be in charge of the chariot of my life. Just like Arjuna and Bhagavan Shri Krishna. Arjuna stood on the battlefield, and when he spoke to Bhagavan Shri Krishna, he says, Bhagavan Gopal, when I look at everybody on the battlefield, I don't know how to start to fight the world. And Bhagavan Shri Krishna says, why worry when I am the charioteer? I will steer you in the right direction. I will guide you on the right path, and I will ensure that you are led to the path of success. You will be led to the right path of success as long as you forget the world tonight and you take a moment to dedicate yourself to the Lord. We're about to join in this chant where we tune our mind and then we go directly into the golden pages of Ramayana, Uttarakhand and Laukushkan of Ramcharitamanas. Everybody all together with one voice, sabko boliye. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So I know you all know this chant very well. It is said Madhyara Purushottam Shri Ram had taken the avatar from one of the Dasha avatars of Mahavishnu. He was one of the forms of the Maha form of Lord Vishnu, the 10 forms. And today we will worship that beautiful form of Bhagavan Gopal, one of the incarnations of our Lord Shri Vishnu. And we all know this chant. As a child growing up, I learned it. I'm sure you would have heard it many times. It's a popular one, so sing with me as we elevate our spiritual energy. Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha, Jai Girivardhari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunjavi Hari, Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunjavi Hari. Everybody with one voice, boliye. Jai Radha Madhava, Jai Kunjavi Hari. Yashodanandana Prajajana Randana, Yashodanandana Prajajana Randana. Yashodanandana Prajajana Randana, Yashodanandana यमुना तीराचारे जय गिरिवरधारी जय राधा माधव जय कुंजरी हरि जय श्री राधे Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Jai Shri Govinda. Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yashodanandana Braja Janarandana Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Yamuna Tira Vanachari Yamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Shri Govinda. Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Girivaradhari. All together with love, sabko pyari. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Shri Gajananda Swami ki jai. This morning when I started my morning, along with the members of my wonderful group, we started with chants to Mahavir Swami around the beautiful Lord Hanuman Baba at the front of the home. And when we started, we performed Sukamamileshan Yani Kani Chapapani Jamantara Kritani Cha Tani Tani Vinashanti Pradakshana Pade Pade. And we chanted Mahamantra for our Lord Bajranga Bali. Today, my friends, as we are worshipping our Lord, it is the day that is dedicated to Mahavir Swami. How lucky am I to be seated right at the base of Bajranga Bali, as is right above me. Today, Bhaktas, as we dive into these golden pages, we will not only take our message from the Ram Charitramanas, but we touch a little bit of the Hanuman Charitramanas as well, as we speak of the strength of Bajranga Bali. It is said Lord Hanumanji's name is known throughout the world. People love Shri Rama. When you hear Ramayan Katha, people love Bhagwan Shri Ram. But when you hear Hanuman Baba, you feel so much more in love with Bhagwan Shri Ram, because that is the love and the projection that Pavanaputra had placed at the feet of his divine Lord, Shri Ram. It is said you can listen to the whole Ramayana, and if you don't hear a little bit of Hanuman Baba, you don't feel satisfied. You don't feel contented. Or that's how I feel. Today, friends, as we're about to go into these beautiful pages of our scripture, it is said Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra, he had gone to the forest and he had saved Sita Devi Mata. And while saving Sita Devi, it was the right time in which he was about to return to Ayodhya. And while he came back to Ayodhya, when Bhagwan Shri Ram was leaving, there was a beautiful, appropriate song, Bhaiji Ganesh. I don't know if you know it. When the Lord was leaving Ayodhya, what song was sung? Do you remember? Do you know? Chor chale आज हमारे राम अयोध्या चोर चले. Everybody, चोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या चोर चले. बनवासी बनराज दुलारे सबसे नाता तोर चले. मुख मोर चले आज हमारे राम अयोध्या चोर चले. And the Lord had left when he had gone into the forest for 14 years. The devotees of Ayodhya, they dropped on their knees and they cried for the Lord. They said to Prabhu, Prabhu Rama, what is Ayodhya without Shri Ram? What is our life without God? What is our life without Bhagwan? It's like an empty shell. And then years after 14 years in the forest, the Lord was about to vapas, he was about to return. And then what did they sing? Ram se milo, Ram se milo, Ram se milo, hey Ram se milo. Shri Rama Ayodhya mein aaye, chalo re sakhi Ram se milo. Prabhu has returned. And while the Lord returned to Ayodhya, it is said he brought back the light and the life into Ayodhya. There are some people, when they step into our lives, they bring happiness and joy and they light up our lives. And there are some people, when they enter our lives, well, that's when we start to cry. That's when problems start. The people you have in your life, do they bring a light to you or do they bring sorrow to you? The people in your homes and in your lives, when you wake up and you see your spouse, when you see your children, do they bring joy to your hearts or do they bring sorrow, depression, anxiety into your lives? Today, Bhagwan Shri Rama, he has returned to Ayodhya and he stands in front of the entirety of Ayodhya. And he says, today, after 14 years of exile, I stand before the entire population of Ayodhya and I will speak. And he says, when I speak, he says, I want everybody to allow your mind to be as soft as a sponge. You ever heard? He says, let your mind be as soft as a sponge and not like that of a rock. If you take a rock and you put it at the bottom of the ocean for 1,000 years, at the end of 1,000 years, if you take that rock and you break it in half, is inside the rock wet or dry? It's still dry. But he says, allow the mind to be like a sponge. As soon as it drops in water, in seconds, it soaks everything up. Allow your mind, when you hear Katha for our Lord, to be as soft as a sponge, so that the moment Bhagwan's name is uttered, you allow it to soak in your mind, your energy, your aura, and your entire being. Shri Ram, he spoke to the entire Ayodhya. And he says, Ayodhya, today I have returned, and I will take my rightful position as the king of Ayodhya. He went back to his chambers and he remembered his father, for his father did not live long. It was on that day when Raja Dashrath held on to the doorways of the palace and he had to tell his son, Prabhu Ram, Jao, go into the forest for 14 years. He had to stand and to look at his child leaving. In today's world, it is said that many a times children are held by their parents. Parents love their children so much they hold on to them and they don't let them go. And in the world, sometimes there are those who simply look at their own and they say, go. The world is different today. Katha says that Shri Rama turned away and he walked because of the word and the promise. What was the promise? How was that? Ragokul riti sada chal aaye प्राण जाए वरु वचन न जाए. Your promise is your life. Your promise is not just a word. A promise is not just a word coming out of your mouth. It is something that you should keep. It is not just a puff of air just leaving your mouth. It is something that we should always keep. How many people give promises and keep them? And how many people give promises and never keep them? You know where it happens a lot? In the Yajna. Bhaiji Ganesh, I promise I'll come. Bhaiji Ganesh, I promise I'll be there. Tonight is the last night. Sunday morning service in the mandir. Guruji, I promise I will be there. And we give a promise. It says if you can't fulfill it, don't give it. Then say, maybe I'll try. Maybe I'll see. Bhaiji Pandit, how many people tell you, I promise, don't worry, you'll see me for sure. Jai Narayan. And when the day comes, you don't see. How many people say that they will help for a yajna? How many people will help in your home? How many people have a home problem, maybe to fix something in your house, and people come and say, hey, you know I could fix that. I promise I will come and help you. And they never show up. A promise is something you should keep as discipline and part of your life. Baba Bhagwan Shri Satya Sai says that your promise is not just a word and it's not just air. It is your character. It is the discipline that you will have for yourself. Have you ever heard the discipline that they put towards an elephant? It says when you look at an elephant, it's a nice, big, huge creature. It can crush you. It can break down and hold the whole yajna if it must. But you know what is done? When the elephant is about 1 year old, as a baby elephant, they come and they take a fat piece of rope and they tie it around one of the foot of the elephant. And they tie it to a pillar. And when they tie it to the pillar, that elephant will try to break loose and he will pull to run away because he knows he's a mighty one. He sees his mother as a big mother elephant and he pulls with all his might and he realizes he cannot burst that rope because it is fat. It is thick. So he will try at the age of 1. The rope will be there at the age of 2, he will try. At the age of 3, he will pull and realize, you know what, it does not make sense because no matter how much I try, I cannot break loose of this rope that has been put on my feet. And then, one day, the owner takes out the rope and the elephant stands there. And the elephant becomes a big, mighty creature. And the day the owner decides to keep that elephant there, all he has to do is to take a thread, a little thread now, and just tie it around the foot of the elephant. And the moment the elephant feels something around his foot, he says, I shouldn't even try. As long as something is around my foot, I wouldn't even break loose, I shouldn't even try. That is, you see, Gyan. In turn, this is how we curb the mind. We must learn to curb the mind, to control the mind. It is said that we are the ones with that inner strength and that power to control our beings and ourselves. We are the ones to allow things to be, allow things to manifest, allow things to happen in our lives. We are the controllers. Don't let the body control the mind, let the mind control the body. Have you ever sat down in a puja and you see people sit down just like this, yoga asana posture, and after 20 minutes they're like this? They're bending their foot all how because they can't sit properly, because the knee hurting, because the back hurting. When I was in India, my Guruji had us sit down and he said in order to learn meditation, we will start our first class by sitting in this posture for 8 hours. And everybody said, 8 hours? Not me. And we had to sit there for 8 hours. He says nobody never died from a knee pain. So you sit right there until you control your knee and control this body. Allow the mind to control the body and not the body to tell the mind what to do and what not to do. Shri Ram says to the entire public and all the devotees of Ayodhya, he says today, I will show the world how to curb the mind and how to be strong. And something is about to happen. Shri Rama, after many years of enjoying his kingdom, it is said one day, he walks up to the chambers and he sees the Divine Mother, Sita Devi. And he says, Devi, today, I find you look so beautiful. Devi Mata walks out of the chambers and she says, Prabhu, what are you telling me? It's been so long. You're still so much in love with me? And he says, Devi, you look so beautiful. Let me ask you, when last did the husbands tonight tell your wife she looked beautiful? Jai Bhagwan. Jai Narayan. When last did the husbands tell the wife, hey, out of the ordinary, you're beautiful? When last did the wife out of the ordinary look at the husband and say, hey, you know something? You're handsome. Ganesh, don't laugh. She go come and tell you after. When last did we take a moment to compliment the people in our lives? When we now meet and we are courting and we, as we say, liming and we're together, you're the best thing in the world. We take all the lyrics they have and you give them all the lyrics. And then when years have passed, what happens? Where's the love? Today, my friends, Shri Ram looks at Devi and he says, Devi, as she walks out of the palace, she walks now into the beautiful flower garden. And he says, Devi, bahut sundari hai. You look so beautiful, Maiya. And she turns around, and when she turns around, she's glowing. Her entire body is glowing. And Prabhu Ram looks at her and he says, something look different about you. According to Trinidadians, as we know it, when you say the woman start glowing, what does it mean? It means that she's now forming and becoming in family weight. They say when the woman is becoming pregnant or she's about to bring a child into the world, she starts to glow, show a glow from the face and the entire body. Isn't that so? They say she looked like she's glowing a little bit. In turn, Shri Ram saw the glow and he says in his mind, she looks beautiful. And as he's about to turn away and to walk away, it is said, Mahaviri Swami Pavanaputra was passing by. And Pavanaputra says, I have a question for you, Lord. He says, I want to know something. Can you tell me how it is people should live in the world? Can you tell me how people should live a righteous life in the world? Can you tell me how we are supposed to respond to life and situations? Because when things happen, sometimes we become confused with so much going on, we don't know how to respond. So how to do it? And then Prabhu Ramachandra, he gives him a little story. This is what he says. He says, Sant aur asanto ki karni vaise hi hai, jaise kulhari aur chandan ki. Hey bhai, suno, kulhari chandan ki काटती है, कीमती चंदन अपना गुण देका उसे सुगंध से सुवास से कर देता है, अपने इसी गुण के करा चंदन देवताओं के मस्त हो पर चढ़ता है. Listen, when you get a tikka, a chandan, what does it mean? What does it mean when you get the tikka? Everybody gets a chandan and we say, no, some people say, no, I don't want the chandan. Why you don't want it? Well, I don't know, I just don't want it. What does it mean when you get the chandan? There are two meanings behind it. There's a spiritual meaning and there's a physical meaning. I'll tell you which one you want to hear first. The spiritual or the physical? Spiritual meaning. Spiritual meaning, it is said that when one performs devotion, when one prays, the energy of an individual uplifts through the chakras. And when the energy rises, it starts to gather at one powerful point, which is here. At that point is where we have the third eye. When the energy is gathered at that point, altogether, the energy of the Lord through prayer becomes heated. Sometimes people cannot control that heat, so they start to shake like this. They're chanting and you see them shaking like this. Or you see them as though they can't control themselves. Here becomes spiritually heated. And the only thing that could calm down the energy so that it doesn't become too much is sandal paste or chandan wood. So in turn, we make a paste and we put it right there. Chandan shouldn't be put all here and all here. Sometimes people get chandan and all on the side here. It should be right at the center of the eyebrow, because that's where that point of energy is. At the same time, it is said the mind is controlled with all the veins and all the energy, and one of the main vein runs right here. Have you ever seen people laugh, and when they laugh, the vein here swells? All the veins are connected and it comes right here and it comes down and then starts to spread again. It is said that that vein that runs there is the main vein from the head or the mind, the brain to the entire body. And when we start praying, that main vein becomes heated. That is the vein you put a chandan for to calm it down. Now the physical meaning has a lot of significance. It is said the chandan comes from a chandan tree. How do you get the chandan off the tree? You cut down the tree. An axe comes and it cuts down the tree. When the tree is cut, a chandan wood smells nice and sweet. It has a high fragrance. It is said the tree, as long as it smells nice, an axe will come and cut it down and the tree will fall down. In life, we will aspire to be somebody nice and big and great and powerful, and we will rise and we will give off a nice scent and people will love us. But just remember, no matter how nice you are, there will be people who will be coming to cut you down. Despite they cut you down, just like the chandan tree, no matter if they cut you down, the tree gives a sweet fragrance and remnants to the blade of the axe. And in turn, understand that at the end of the day, the chandan, no matter if it was cut, it will go at the head of the gods. And the axe, no matter how sweet it smells, it has to go back into the fire to be sharpened again. In life, people will try to destroy our dreams and our hopes and our love and our joy, but still be nice to them and still give off your fragrance and your sweetness, because it is part of your inner nature and your being to just be nice to the world. That is why we wear chandan, for two beautiful meanings. So next time you get chandan and tikka, you take it and be proud to wear it, because it has a high significance and a meaning. Bhagwan Shri Ram speaks, and while Mahaviri Swami listens, Pavanaputra, he says, Prabhu Rama, Are, Sita Devi is looking so wonderful. Prabhu, why don't you go and just enjoy having a conversation with her? And Bhagwan Shri Ram, he says, well, I will go and I will speak to the mother. And while he walks out into the field and he sees Devi Mata, he says, Devi, today I will tell you that you are looking so amazing. And while he has a conversation with her, the gods of the skies will notice the love that the Lord has for Devi Mata. And this is how it goes. Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ramachandra Kripalu Bhajumana Arana Bhava Bhayadarunam Navakanjalochana Kanja Mukhakara Kanja Parakanjarunam Shri Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Kandarpa aganita amita chavinava nila nirara sundaram patapita mana hutaru tiruchi suchi nami janaka sutavaram Shri Ram Hanuman Shri Ram Raghunanda Ananda Kanda Kosha Chanda Dasharata Nandanam Shri Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. बोलिए सबको प्यारी श्री रामचंद्र कृपालु भजुमन अर्णभव वैधारुणम नवकंजलोचन कंज मुखकर कंज पर कंजारुणम श्री राम, श्री Ram, Shri Ram, Shri Ram. Shri Gajananda Swami ki jai. It is said, friends, When Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra walked up to Devi, he entered the beautiful garden of flowers. And he says, Maya, today I feel so proud and happy to have you in my life. And because I feel joyous and I feel happy, tell me, is there something that you wish to have? Is there anything that you would like to have? Because if there is something, I want to get it for you. I feel so happy just to have you in my life that I will get it for you. Whatever you wish for, just tell me and I will get it for you. Children, when last did you go by your mother and say, Mommy, do you need something? Just name it. I will get it for you. To all children, when last did you go by your father and say, Daddy, maybe you have everything, you know what? I just feel like giving you something. Is there something that you need? Parents don't need to ask their children for something. But out of love, a child should walk up to mother and walk up to father and say, Dad, Mom, by chance do you need something that will make your life easier? I don't know. I don't know what you've been thinking of. I don't know how your days go. I don't know if you're tired. Are your feet hurting? Should I squeeze your feet? Should I get something that probably squeezes your feet? Should I help in any way? Because you work hard. Children today, in today's world, must take a moment to acknowledge that parents have sacrificed so much for them. Parents have had sleepless nights and sometimes tears in their eyes to make sure that we have what we have. And sometimes all they want in the end is gratitude. All they want is to be loved, to be appreciated, to be acknowledged. It's good sometimes to just make a call to your mother and say, Mommy, I just called to find out. Are you okay? Do you need something? If tonight, after tonight's katha, you haven't done that in a long time, then when you leave to go back home, pick up your phone and call Mommy. To those who are lucky and your mommy is alive, that's a blessing. Don't wait until you see her in a box in front of you and then you want to cry. There are many people, they wait for the last moment. You look at all the funerals. Look at all the Antyeshi sanskars that are taking place. And only when the child stands in front of the box and they look at the mother in the box or the father in the box, then they say, after this song, Koi लाख करे चतुराई कोई लाख करे चतुराई कर्म का ले कमिते नर भाई कर्म का ले कमिते नर भाई जरा समझो इसकी सच्चाई रे कर्म का ले कमिते नारे भाई. I see as a pundit, when somebody dies and you reach at the cremation site or you reach at the home where the body is lying, then the children bringing all the roses, then they're bringing all the flowers, then they're bringing everything. Mommy, I wish I could talk to you one more time. Do you need anything, Mom? Mom, what should I do now that you're about to leave? I would never see you again. What should I do for you, Mom? Don't wait for the final moment. Don't wait to hear a tune. Itna tu karna, Swami, jab prana tan se nikale, Govinda naam lekar, tab prana tan se nikale. Many people wait, and when their parents die, then they say, if I had only known, I would have done better. Today, friends, I will give you a moment, just a few seconds. This is a yajna. And in the yajna, we are supposed to feel complete in all the actions that we perform in the world and surrender to the Divine Lord. Tonight, at this time, I will give you just a few moments. And while we give you the few moments, I want you to think of your mother and think of your father. If your mother is alive, you're lucky, think of her. And the moment you leave tonight, give her a call. If your father is alive, then when you leave here tonight, give him a call and say, Daddy, I'm just thinking about you. I miss you. Are you okay? Do you need something? And to those whose parents aren't alive, if you are not given the opportunity to finally say bye, or to finally to tell them, you know what, I'm sorry, or maybe a last word to say thank you, take a moment and close your eyes tonight and say, Lord, wherever the soul of my mother and my father may be, I'm about to say a prayer for them. Everybody, close your eyes for a moment and think of the elders. Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Natanarayana Vasudeva Shri Krishna Govinda Hare Murari He Natanarayana Vasudeva Shrimanarayana Narayana Narayan Shrimanarayana Narayana Narayan Lakshmi Narayana Narayana Narayan Lakshmi Narayana Narayana Narayan Lakshmi Narayana Narayana Narayan Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Today, as we have thought of our parents, thought of the elders, we are here because of them, their sacrifice, their hard work, their toil. And when you praise Shri Krishna, He is Lord of life. He is Lord of the universe. Yada yada hi dharmasya glanir bhavati bharata abhyutanam dharmasya taratmanam shrajamyaham paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya shatuskritam dharma sansthapanataya shambhavami yuge yuge. The Lord took incarnation again and again in the world to save us, to guide us, to protect us. While Shri Rama, he stands and he looks at Devi, to Bhagavan Gopal, in remembering our loved ones all together. I know this is one of the favorite of Mom. We dedicate this one to you. Hari Sundara Nanda Mukunda Hari Narayana Hariyo Hari Keshava Hari Govinda Hari Narayana Hariyo. Everybody loudly, Vrindavan mein Hari Lal ki. One voice, ek baar boliye. Hari Sundara Hare, क्या बात है? हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरिओ हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरिओ हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरिओ. बनमाले मुरली धारे गोवर्धन गिरिवर धारे बनमाले मुरली धारे गोवर्धन गिरिवर धारे नित नित कर्मा कर्ण चोरी गोपी मनहारी नित नित कर्मा कर्ण चोरी गोपी मनहारी हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरिओ हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरिओ. आओ गाओ रे नाचो रे रास रचायो रे। हरि हरि सुंदर नंद मुकुंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंद हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम। बोलिए सबको। हरि सुंदर मुकुंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि केशव हरि गोविंदा हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण हरि ओम हरि नारायण। Shri Gajananda Swami ki jai. It is said, my friends, when Bhagwan Shri Ram walked into the beautiful flower garden, he saw Devi Mata and he stood up next to her. He says, Maya, is there anything I can get for you? Is there anything that you like? I admire how you're glowing and you look so beautiful. What can I do for you, Maya? And she looks at Bhagwan Shri Ram and she says, Prabhu, you know, there's one thing. You know, while I was walking through the forest, I met so many holy people. I met many great saints and many great sages. And while passing through, I saw the conditions that they were living in. And I always wished that I could take back things for them and bring gifts to them and give charity and sustain them. And I wish I could go and visit them to speak to them and to give them a motivational word and to uplift them. Live in a world where when we come in contact with people, we motivate people, not discriminate people. Devi says, I want to go back into the forest to speak to those who think less of themselves so that they can motivate themselves. When we use our words to talk to people, like Bhaiji we were saying, it is not what you say, but how you say it. It is how we do it in the world. Use your words to uplift people, not bring them down. Use words to motivate people, not pull them down. Bhagwan Shri Ram says, Maya, what do you want? You just tell me batao na. And Devi says, Prabhu, I will tell you. I want to go back into the forest and I want to meet all these holy ones. And that promise that I promised them, I want to be able to fulfill it. And he says, Devi, as you say, tathastu, it will be. I bless you, Maya. You will go back into the forest. Make preparations and you will go back into the forest. Shri Ram was so happy that Devi wanted to go back into the forest. And he says, Maya, go prepare yourself. And while Devi is preparing herself, she goes back to her chambers. And she starts to gather everything together. Bhagwan Shri Ram in turn, he wanted to make sure that whatever the mother needed to take into the forest, she would have had it. So he decided now with his own will and with his own mind, it is said that he decided on his own that he will go into the markets and he will buy whatever he thinks necessary for her to take back. So he goes into the markets and he starts to buy many things and he starts to gather it together. And he calls one of his friends from the ministry. And while he's walking with his friend, he says, my friend, I feel so proud today to have now Sita Devi being so comfortable and being so kind-hearted that she lives not for herself, but she lives for the people outside. She wants to go back in the forest and make people happy. That is a yajna. A yajna is giving back, not taking. When you do a yajna and you perform a yajna, it is about taking what you have and sharing for the world. For this yajna, we are sharing the greatest gift, Atma Gyan, knowledge. We are sharing food, feeding people. We are sharing gifts. Many people receive so many things. That in itself is a blessing. Shri Rama has gone and he's speaking to his friend and he says, Bhaiya, tell me something. You know, I've had a long journey through the forest and back with Sita Devi. And today, after many years to see her so comfortable, it brings joy to my heart. Can you tell me, what do the people of the village say about us? Are they happy about us? What do the people of the town say about us? Are they feeling comfortable that I am the king, Bhagwan Shri Ram? Let me ask you tonight, what are people saying about you? Are they saying good things? Are you living a good life of character that people could say good things about you? Are you living a good life that people can point a finger and say, hey, that's a good person? Or are you living a life where when people see you, they say, hey, if you know what I need to tell you about he. In our language, that's how people say it. What kind of person and character are you keeping to yourself in the world? Is it one that people will look up at you? Or is it one that is bringing down yourself? Bhagwan Shri Ram wants to know. He says, Bhaiya, tell me, what are the people saying about us? And at that point, it is said the best friend of the Lord, he says, Prabhu, the people admire you for your strength and your greatness. The people admire you. You went all the way to Lanka, and a great king who was powerful, you destroyed him. And you retrieved Sita Devi. They are proud of you, Lord. You are powerful indeed. And he says, really? Are they really proud? He says, yes, Prabhu. They are proud of you. And in turn, people, they look at your life and they want to mentor it. They want to be just like you. They want to live in the same pattern like you. They want to achieve good things just like you. Tonight, live a life where people want to be like you. You don't try to be like anybody. Live a life where people will try to be like you and try to mentor you. Live a good life where people will look up at you. How you handle situations, how you handle the world. Live a life where people will look up and say, hey, you see Bhaiji Ganesh? That's a good man. I want to be like him one day. Or to the Pandits, I want to be like this Pandit one day. I want to achieve something. I want to be successful. Live a life where people will look up at you and not look down at you. Today, Bhaktas, it is said Shri Rama, he's asking. And while all the nice things are coming out, he says, but Bhaiya, I want you to be honest with me. What are the people really saying? Is it only the nice things? I'm sure people have two sides of the story. I'm sure there must be bad things too. And he turned away for a moment. Well, Prabhu, they were saying in the markets, they were actually speaking. And some of them, they were not too satisfied with how you brought back Sita Devi. You know, Sita Devi, she stayed at someone else's place for a period of time. And you know, I'm being honest, Prabhu, this is what they're saying in the village, you know. It's been years after, but people are talking about your life and about your home and about your status and about your personal life. Be careful in the world that you live, because people will pry into your personal life and they will try to create problems. Be careful in the world that you live, because you might be happy in your own journey and in your own life, and people will be coming to find a little problem so that they can create a problem. It's how you see the world, right? You can find good in something and you can find bad in it. What do you want to see? You can choose. Today, Shri Rama is there and he says, really? He stopped for a second. He says, but I've never done anything wrong. But even when Sita Devi had to come back, did you know, did the world know what she had to undergo? When I had to bring back Sita Devi, Sita Mata came out and she said to me, Prabhu, you've saved me now and you've destroyed Ravana. And the mother says, Prabhu, look at me. And I turned around and I had to make sure that the world notices. He says, I never looked at her. I allowed all the monkeys and all the bears to look at her. And Devi, she had to sacrifice. She lit a fire. And she had to do the fire ordeal. She had to cross the sacred Agni to show the world that anything that passes through fire is pure. And anything that crosses fire is divine. And when she entered the fire, Om Shri Agni Devtaya Namaha. She walked into the fire, and coming out of the fire, Agni Dev holds her, and he says to the world, today a mother has crossed the fire, and the Maya Devi is no longer here, but the real Sita Devi is here. She's pure, she's untouched, she is divine, she's that purified mother. Let the world know her greatness. Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra says, when the world has seen this life of Sita Devi, why years after they're going to bring up a problem now? And it troubles his mind. And while he's troubled, he goes back to his chambers and he's thinking about the words of people. Sometimes if you live for people, you live miserable. Sometimes if you live for what people say, you won't have a life. Forget the world and make you happy. It doesn't mean be selfish, but you need to be happy first and then the world after. Because if you allow the world to contaminate you, then you'll be destroyed. Listen, Shri Rama, he starts to think of all the good things that he has done and he wonders what next. Beautiful bhajan. It is said, Sita Mata on the other hand, she's so happy, she's preparing to go to the forest and he's stressed. What to do? Rama patita pavana karunakara aur sada sukadata सरस सुहावन अति मन भावन, राम से प्रीत लगा ले, मन में राम बसा ले, मन में राम बसा ले। बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम। सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम, सीता राम सीता राम सीता राम। जन्म सफल होगा रे बंदे, मन में राम बसा ले, मन में राम बसा ले। बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम। सबको ओम जय श्री राम। मोह माया है जूता बंधन, त्यागु से तो प्राणी। It is said Bhagwan Shri Rama, by himself, he stands there and he thinks of the Divine Mother and he's wondering to himself in his heart. He says, you know what? She is so happy to go into the forest, but I'm put in a dilemma. Is it what people are really saying? So he disguises himself and he changes his clothing and he covers himself and he says, let me go into the village and let me see with my own eyes. What are the people saying about me? माया है जूता बंधन, जागो से तो प्राणी। राम नाम की ज्योत जला कर अपना भाग जगा ले, मन में राम बसा ले, मन में राम बसा ले। बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम। राधे गोविंदा। राम भजन में डूब के अपने निर्मल कर ले काया। राम नाम से प्रीत लगा के जीवन पार लगाए, मन में राम बसा ले, मन में राम बसा ले। बोलो बोलो राम बोलो राम बोलो राम, 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 बोलो राम बोलो जन्म सफल होगा रे बंदे, मन में राम बसा ले, मन में राम बसा ले. Shri Vrindavan Bihari Lal ki. It is said, my dear bhaktas, while Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra sat in his chambers, he decided to change his clothing to hide himself and go back into the streets now to find out the truth. While he had prepared himself to go back in the truth in the world, I always tell people, be careful of the people in our lives. There are people who will hide themselves and try to be somebody else just so that they can come and see what is going on in your life. Not everybody in your life may be real. Not everyone in your life may be a genuine person. There will be the people who will come just to see. For example, Bhaiji Ganesh, I know you know everybody here. But maybe there might be somebody who said, I don't feel like going on, but you know what, let me just go and see how the yajna going. I hope there's nobody like that here. There might be people who might come into our homes just to see our house. Hey, I wonder if they clean the house. I wonder how inside the house they. There's some people might come to see your home and your relationship and your marriage and your life so that they could pry problems into it and they can only be there to see. There are people who have disguised themselves and they're walking right around you just to trick you and to see who you really are. Be careful. Sometimes we live in a world where we have to walk on thin lines. Because the slightest slip that you make, people are ready to criticize you. People are ready to put you down. People are ready to discriminate you. Such is the world in the age of Kali Yuga. Shri Rama sits there and he says to himself, I want to see with my own eyes. He disguises himself and he covers his head and he walks now into the town, and while he's walking through, he's seeing everybody. And then suddenly he hears a voice. He hears the voice of a man arguing with his wife. So he peeks into the direction and he goes. And when he reaches there, from behind a wall, he listens and he peeks and he looks and he sees a man. He's arguing with his wife. He says, who do you think I am? I saw you talking to another person 2 days ago and you stayed for a while and you come back. I am not Shri Ram to accept back anybody into my home. So wherever you come from, take your bag and go back right there. I will not be Shri Ram. And the Lord heard it for himself. Sometimes people will come and tell you personally, be careful of this person, be careful of that person. And sometimes until we don't hear for our own self, we'll never believe it. Until we don't see it for our own selves, we'll never believe it. Shri Ram stood there and when he saw the entire thing, at that moment his heart broke. He did not know what to do. He was lost for words. He was lost in his mind. He turned around immediately and he started walking back to the palace, and while he's walking, he's bent his head and he's wondering what next. Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, oh. Shri Rama Jaya Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Rama Jaya Rama. He says, how can life be so cruel? I saved the world from a Rakshasa. My Dulahin, my wife, she crossed a fire. She suffered for months. And she went through the fire ordeal. And today, years after, when my wife and my Dulahin is about to bring a child and be the happiest person in the world, people are still saying bad things about me. Sometimes in life, you could give people your life and you could do everything for them. And if they don't like you, they will never like you. Sometimes you could treat people the best no matter how much you try. If people do not like you, accept it. Be careful in the world that we live in. There's a saying, people will only like you when they can get from you. And the day you stop and say, hey, I can't give you, that's the day all friendship done. All friendship is finished after that. Nobody wants to see you anymore. Nobody wants to speak to you anymore. The day a young man could pick up all his friends and say, let's go liming everywhere. Let's go have a drink somewhere. Let's go party somewhere. Everybody's coming. You buying? Okay, let's go. Everybody go. The day a man stands up in his home and say, I want to change my life. I stop drinking alcohol. I'm stop partying now. The day the man stands up, all the friends walk away. He has nobody to call him after that. Nobody will look for him. Who are your friends? A friend in need is a friend indeed. Who are your friends? Who will you trust? Today, Bhagwan Shri Ram, he goes back to his chambers and he sits there and he's so depressed. He does not know what to do. He calls for Lakshmana Bhaiya. He sends one of the ministers to call Lakshmana. And when Lakshmana came, at that point, it is said, Bhaiya Lakshmana says, Prabhu, kya hua? I heard you call me. What is wrong? And the moment he saw the aura of Bhagwan Shri Ram, you know, you can tell when somebody is upset by just looking at them. You can tell when somebody is angry just by looking at them. Bhaji Ganesh, you could do that. You could look at somebody and the way they... You already know, hey, don't tell him anything, he's upset. You can tell when somebody's energy is upset because of the feeling and the energy that you get. By the face and the expression, you can tell when somebody is sad. You can tell when somebody is jealous. You can tell when somebody is upset. You can tell when somebody is happy. By just looking at somebody, their aura, their energy can tell a lot about them. As soon as Lakshmana walked in, he says, Prabhu, kya hai? What is this? Why are you looking so depressed? Is everything okay? Sab theek hai na? And Bhagwan Shri Ram, he doesn't answer. Prabhu, batao, what is wrong? And the Lord bends his head and he doesn't know how to respond. He says, Bhaiya, today I want to tell you something. Sita Mata has asked to go back into the forest to take gifts. Bhaiya Lakshmana, I wanted to take her to the forest tomorrow morning, but leave her there. Don't bring her back. He says, what? Kya? Leave Sita for how long? Forever. Arey bhaiya, pagal ho gaya. Have you gone mad? Pick up your wife and just take her into the forest and just leave her there? No, no, no. I can't do that. Prabhu, what is the problem? What is wrong? And Bhagwan Shri Rama is about to speak at that time. He says, Bhaiya Lakshmana, I want to tell you today something that you will never understand. Today I walked into the forested path. And when I walked there, and I walked amongst many of the people who were there, they were speaking so many things. And while they were speaking, listen, my friends. Shri Ram Jai Rama Jai Jai Rama Rama Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama Rama Shri Ram Jai Jai Rama Jai Shri Ram. Sada Ram Priya Hotu Rama Subhaguna Bhavana Amana Rama Ho Subhaguna Bhavana Amana. हनुमान की जय, अयोध्या राम लला की जय, बोलो भाई सब संतन की जय, सियावर रामचंद्र की जय शरणम। Everybody बोलिए, सबको प्यारी। मम पूर्वासे तपसेर प्रीति, सतमेलो जाई तीन गहो नीति। श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। श्री राम जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय। बोलिए श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम, श्री राम जय राम जय जय राम। Bhaiya Lakshmana speaks to Prabhu Shri Ram. He says, Bhaiya, how can you do such a thing? At that point, Bhagwan Shri Ramachandra, he says, Bhaiya, I am the king of Ayodhya. I do not have time for explanation. Just follow my orders. I know why I see what I see. I will ask you a question. Can a brother give another brother an advice? Yeah, of course. Let me rephrase it now. Can a bigger brother give a smaller brother an advice? Definitely. Can a smaller brother give a bigger brother an advice? In the world that we live in today, you see two brothers probably arguing or having a conversation, and when the younger brother says, listen, I think you should do it like that. Hey, I'm bigger than you. You have to listen to me first. We live in a world where people think that because you're bigger, you have more authority. Because you're bigger, you think you can tell everybody what to do. But here's what. We are big, and even today the children are teaching us how to use our phone. That's all. We are big, and even the little ones are teaching us how to open YouTube and go on Facebook. And not just that, they're teaching you how to go on Facebook and type Pandit Narad Gosai and find me also. Even the little ones, they know how to do it. If a young one can give us an advice, why not the elders? Do you remember in our beautiful script, Ramcharitamanas? It is said when Vibhishan walked up to his brother, he says, Bhaiya, aap bara bhai ho. Please listen to me. You're my bigger brother. But I want to give you an advice. Give back Sita Devi, please. Because if you don't give her back, the entire Lanka will be destroyed. And at that point, it is said that Ravana came down with his sword and he walked up to his brother. And he took his sword and he put it by his neck. And he says, listen, I'm your bigger brother. Don't tell me what to do. He says, you should be lucky that you're living in Lanka. Because of me, you have food. Because of me, you have clothing. Because of me, you have a place to stay. Don't give me an advice. And Vibhishan Bhaiya says, but Bhaiya, listen, but it is the wrong thing you're doing. Bhagwan Shri Ram is Lord of the universe. And Ravana became so upset and so angry. He became so frustrated. He says, Bhaiya, listen, don't let me destroy you today. Don't let me take this sword and destroy my own brother. You utter the words of another person in my kingdom. Don't let me destroy you. And Vibhishan put his hands together, haath jodkar. Bhaiya, please, listen to me. So no, na. And when he put his hands together, what did Ravana do? Ravana stepped back, he took his right foot and he kicked his brother down. And when he kicked his brother down, Vibhishan fell to the ground and he jumped up immediately. And he ran to the feet of his brother and he grabbed the foot of Ravana. He says, Bhaiya, you kicked me with your foot. You took your sore foot and you hit my hard chest with it. Is your feet okay? And he started to rub the foot of his brother. If your own brother kick you, what will you do? Ganesh Bhaiya, if your brother kick you, what will you do? Ganesh is going to kick him back. If your brother hits you, what will you do? Be logical in today's world. If our brother come and hit you, you go in and find him and you go in and hit him back, and more than that. People get so frustrated, they will be ready to kill him also. That is the world you live in today. Frustrated world. Lakshmana, towards his brother, he says, Prabhu Ram, you really command me to do this? Vibhishan to Ravana. Vibhishan says, Bhaiya, you kicked me with your soft foot. Is your feet okay? And he started to massage the feet of his brother. And Ravana pulled away. And he says, this is what you do. Leave from here and never return. And Vibhishan stood up and he put his hands together. And he says, today, Bhaiya, I tried to help you and you kicked me. In turn, I will walk away. I'll give you one more chance. But I will walk away. And I will leave Lanka. And I will go on the side of Bhagwan Shri Ram. And one day I will come back with the Lord on my side. When people kick you, who to turn to? Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. Shri Ram Jaya Rama Jaya Jaya Rama. When people kick you in the world, walk away and go to Prabhu. And you pray and say, Lord, this person kicked me. The world is kicking me. And Bhagwan will help you. He will stand with you. When Vibhishan walked up to Bhagwan Shri Ram, the Lord didn't question. Lakshmana got so angry. He says, Hare Prabhu, this is the brother of Ravana. Don't welcome him here. And Bhagwan says, hey, Shant ho jai na. Come, let's go find out. And he walked up to Vibhishan and he says, Bhaiya, you've come here? Kyo? And Vibhishan says, I spoke to my brother and he kicked me, so I don't know where else to go. And Shri Ram says, when the world kicks you and you turn to me, he embraced Vibhishan and he says, well, you're one of mine now. When the world kicks you, turn to Bhagwan. He will hold you and he will keep you. Transform your life into what you want in this world. Transform your life into something that is good. Change your life and allow it to be what it is. A bhajan says this. राम रही मैं तो भजने वाले तेरी पुजारी रामा शंभु रही मैं तो भजने वाले तेरी पुजारी रामा तेरा नाम एक सहारा तेरा नाम एक सहारा राम रही मैं तो भजने वाले तेरी पुजारी रामा शंभु रही मैं तो भजने वाले तेरी पुजारी रामा तेरा नाम एक सहारा तेरा नाम एक सहारा हरि जय श्री राम तुम ही हो गीता तुम ही रामायण तुम ही हो वेद पुराना शिव महेश्वरा। जय हो। तुम ही हो रामा, तुम ही हो कृष्ण, तुम ही हो अंतर्यामी। तेरा नाम एक सहारा, तेरा नाम एक सहारा। हरी all glory so Lord, भगवान श्री राम। तेरा नाम एक सहारा, 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 तेरा नाम। राम रही मैं तो भजने वाले, तेरी पुजारी रामा। शंभु रही मैं तो भजने वाले, तेरी पुजारी रामा। तेरा नाम एक सहारा, तेरा नाम एक सहारा। श्री वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय। Friends and bhaktas, it is said on that beautiful day when Bhagwan Maryada Purushottam Shri Ramachandra spoke to Lakshmana, he says, Bhaiya, don't speak back to me. I'm giving you a command. Take Sita Devi, do not say a word. Take her into the forest, leave her there, and you come back. Lakshmana Bhaiya says, Prabhu, you give me such orders. It is best you take an arrow and shoot me right now than to tell me go and hurt somebody. There are many people in the world who think when you hurt somebody, it's so easy, it's all right. But Lakshmana says, I can't do it, my heart won't permit. Prabhu, please, don't allow me to go through this. And Prabhu Ramachandra says, he says, do not look at me as your bhaiya today, but today I'm the king of Ayodhya giving a command. Follow through with it. And Lakshmana turned around and he bent his head and he walked away, thinking what to do, what next. He went to the chambers of Devi Mata and he knocked on the door. He kept his head down. And as soon as Devi looked, it is said without saying a word. At that point, he says, Devi Maya. He says, Didi, I will tell you, get dressed for early in the morning. Before the sun will rise, early in the morning. I will tell you, prepare yourself. I will take you into the forest. Devi doesn't know anything. She's happy. Arey bhaiya, really? Is this all truth? Is it true? Yes, such hai. Are you going to take me? Thank you so much, bhaiya. And she turns around and she goes back in the room and excited, packing and fixing everything to go. And she's ready, my friends, to go into the forest. That night, it is said Bhagwan Shri Ram, he didn't know what to do. He was so confused. He kept pacing his room up and down, and while he kept pacing up and down, he was confused in his mind. Am I doing the right thing? But he started thinking to himself that our culture is about discipline. It is about dharma. Our life is about dharma. Bhagavad Gita begins with the word dharma kshetre kurukshetre samaveta yutsavaha mamaka pandavasheva kima kurvata sanjaya. Dharma kshetre, dharma first and foremost. Our life is based on dharma. Our rules and our culture is based on dharma. And he sits to think. He says, I should not put my personal gains first, but I should put my kingdom first. That's what my father taught me, to rule the kingdom as the king of Ayodhya. I cannot put my selfish gains there. I have to think of the public at large. And he tells himself in his mind, I will have to give up Sita Devi. I cannot hold it back. and tears flowed from the eyes of that divine Lord. The Lord Bhagwan Shri Ram, he thought of Devi, and he said, tears will flow and he will sit by himself. And early morning, Lakshman Bhaiya gets up. He goes on the door, he knocks on the door. Hare Devi, it is time to go, Maiya. And he walks outside and he goes and he sits down on his chariot and he waits for the moment. And Devi comes out and she's taking a few bags with her and she's excited and she's walking now towards the chariot. And Bhaiya Lakshmana doesn't say anything. He sits down, Devi takes a seat and she's comfortable and she's looking back at Ayodhya and she's looking at the place and she's telling herself in her mind, I will only take maybe 2 days and I will come back. And she's going into the forest now, and while she's going, the day is passing and she's looking at the deers and she's looking at the birds and she's looking at all the beauty of nature. And Bhagwan Shri Ram, he sits in his chambers, sad. Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. He stands up and he overlooks the palace. Sita Devi is no more. She has gone. And while she's gone in the forest, the afternoon is about to dawn and Bhagwan Shri Ram is hurt. And the Lord waits to see when Lakshmana would return. And Bhaiya Lakshmana reaches now in the depths of the forest and he reaches where the beautiful Nadi is flowing, where the beautiful Ganga flows and the wonderful Tamasa river. It is said while Bhaiya Lakshmana reaches that point and he stops, he says, Maya Devi, this will be your stop for now. And Devi says, but Bhaiya, it is so dark. Are you going to leave me in the dark like this? And Lakshmana doesn't want to say anything. Maya, this is your stop. So she comes down and she stands on the ground by herself and she looks around and she sees forests, she sees the bushes and the trees and there's nobody there. And Bhaiya Lakshmana says, Maya, I will have to go. And the mother says, you'll leave me here by myself, alone? Bhaiya, what is this? And Bhaiya Lakshmana could not keep it back anymore. Tears started to roll down. He couldn't hold it back for himself. He had to speak. He says, Maya, please forgive me. Maaf kijiye na Maya. Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama, Shri Ram Jai Rama, Jaya Jaya Rama. And Lakshmana kneeled down right there and he says, Maya, today I will tell you. He says, Devi, Bhagwan Shri Ram heard somebody in the village and they said bad things. Maya, Bhagwan Shri Ram, he does know better. Maya, I begged him to let you stay and he refused me. Devi, I don't know what to say anymore. I'm confused, Maya, but I have to follow the orders of my brother. Can you please forgive him? And can you please forgive me? We live in a world where people don't know how to forgive anymore. We live in a world where people say forgive and forget, but you know what? People say I forgive you, but I'll never forget what you did. We live in a world that's mixed up and messed up, where people hold on to grudges and they try to destroy us because of these grudges. Bhaiya Lakshmana says, Maya, please forgive me. And he goes on top of his chariot and he turns around and Maya says, Are Bhaiya, you leaving me here? You're supposed to be a bigger brother to me. You're supposed to be a brother to stand for me, to protect me. In a wedding ceremony, they said the brother performs the tag part. And what does he say in the tag part? He says, today I will put this mala, this tag part around your neck. And whatever problems you go through as a brother, I will stand on your side and protect you. And today, he's walking away. He's riding away. He rides away and he goes and it's dark at night. And while it's dark, the beautiful moment has come now. In the chambers of Bhagwan Shri Rama, it is said, that suddenly the Great One has come and he's in search of his mother. Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! Jai Shri Ram! Pavanaputra has come and Bajrangabali, he walks into the chambers. He says, Prabhu, ye kya ho raha hai? Prabhu, what is going on? I haven't seen you for the whole day and I've been looking for Devi. Have you found Devi Maiya? And Bajrangabali, my friends, when he looked at the energy of the Lord, he could figure out that something is wrong. And at that point, he says, Prabhu, batao, kya hua? And Prabhu looks at him and he says, Maiya, Sita Devi. He breaks down and he says, Devi has gone in the forest and she will never return. And Bajrangabali says to him, she will never return? Meri maa hai. My mother has gone and she will never return. Arey Prabhu, what have you done? Where is Devi Sita? And Bajrangabali, it is said he took his gada and he placed it on his shoulder. Jai Shri Ram! And he came out of the palace. And it is late at night. And it is said he's Pavanaputra. He's Bajrangabali. With the speed of the wind god and the blessings of the wind god. In turn, Mahaviri Swami, he soars into the skies and he listens for the voice of his mother. And while he's listening, my dear friends, Scripture tells us that he finds a spot where he sees Devi Mata. And when he sees Devi Maiya, at that point, my dear Bhaktas, it is said he circles the spot, seeing Devi by herself. And she's calling out, Ram, Ram, Ram. And at that very moment, she sees her son and she sees Pavanaputra. And Mahaviri Swami says, Maiya, today the Lord has left you alone. Today Bhaya Lakshmana has left you alone. But your son Hanuman Baba will never leave you alone. Jai Bajrangabali! Jai Bajrangabali! Mahaviri Swami landed on his spot. And he says, Maiya, today let the world know, just like when I gave you hope under the Ashoka, today, my dear friends, Pavanaputra will always stand and be there for you. Pavana Sutta Hanuman ki Jai! Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Manavare Manava Jeevan hai Sangram. Manavare Manava Jeevan hai Sangram. Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram, Bajale Ram Ram Ram. Manavare Manava Jeevan hai Sangram. Bolo Manavare Manava Jeevan hai Sangram. Om Shri Ramaya Namaha. नात यही पर लोक यही है, यही धरा और अव्योग, यही धरा और अव्योग। जय श्री राम। यही पुरातन नारायण है, यही सनातन हो, यही सनातन हो। इससे बड़ा नहीं कोई काम, इससे बड़ा नहीं कोई काम। बजले राम राम राम, बजले राम राम राम, बजले राम राम राम, बजले राम राम राम। मनवारे जब अनोखे गजब कैस के गजब कैस के सूर्य चंद्र के दीप जलाता बिनवाती बिनते बिनवाती बिनते यही सवारे सारे काम यही सवारे सारे काम बजले राम 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 बजले राम 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 बजले राम 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 बजले राम 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 मनवा दे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम बजले राम 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 हे राम हे राम हे बजले राम 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 मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है संग्राम मनवा रे मनवा जीवन है जीवन है संग्राम जीवन है संग्राम जीवन है संग्राम पवन सुत हनुमान की बजरंगबली की जय. It is said that day Bajrangbali brought hope once more for the second time in the life of Devi Mata Sita. And then he says, Maya, I will stand with you and I will guide you in this direction. If you keep walking, the great ashram of sage Valmiki is there. You go there and you will be guided. And if you ever need my help, just think of me and I will appear. She was given the blessing of having that most powerful son on her side. And he was no ordinary one. He was Pavanaputra. Shri Pavanasuta Hanuman ki, Gajananda Swami ki jai. This is where we end our beautiful katha. As we end our katha, at this time, without further ado, let us stand for beautiful Harati. आरती श्री राम मायण जी की रमायण जी की कीरति कलितल लित सियपी की आरती श्री राम मायण जी की रमायण जी की कीरति कलितल गावत ब्रह्मा वेग मुनी नारद गावत ब्रह्मा वेग मुनी नारद वाल्मीकि ज्ञान विशारद सुखसनकारि शेष और शारद शेष और शारद वरने पवन सुत कीरति दीपो हरि गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश गावत वेद पुराण अष्टदश जहो शास्त्र ग्रंथन कोरस मुनि जन दन संतन को सरवस तन को सरवस तारयं शशं मद सबहि को जय श्री राम कलिमाला हरणी विषय रस देगी कलिमाला हरणी विषय रस देगी सुवर श्रृंगार मोती युवती की गलन रोग भव मोरिया मेघी तात मात सब विधि तुलसी तुम बरे वीर बलवान महावीर बजरंगी तुम बरे वीर बलवान महावीर बजरंगी मैं धरो तिहारो ध्यान महावीर बजरंगी मैं धरो तिहारो ध्यान महावीर बजरंगी जय हो पवन पुत्र अंजनी दुलारे पवन पुत्र अंजनी दुलारे पवन पुत्र अंजनी दुलारे रघुनंदन के प्राण पियारे जय 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 हनुमान जय 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 हनुमान महावीर बजरंगी तुम बरे वीर बलवान महावीर बजरंगी महावीर बजरंगी महावीर बजरंगी महावीर बजरंगी महावीर बजरंगी ओम झौ शांति अंतरिक्ष गम शांति पृथ्वी शांति आपः शांति औषधि शांति वनस्पति शांति विश्वदेवा शांति ब्रह्म शांति सर्वगम शांति शांतिर्देवा शांति सामा शांतिरिधि ओम शम नो मित्र शम वरुणः शम नो भगवद्वर्यमा शम निन्दो बृहस्पति शम नो विश्वरूक्रमः नमो ब्रह्मणे नमस्ते वायु त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्मासि त्वमेव प्रत्यक्षं ब्रह्म वदिष्यामि ऋतं वदिष्यामि सत्यं वदिष्यामि तन्मामवतु तर्वक्तारमवतु अवत्वं मामवक्तारं गोविन्दाभ्यो नमो नमः ओम न तत्र सुरभात न चंदतारकं नीमा विद्युर्वान्तिकनेमग्निः तमेव भान्तुं न भाति सर्वं तस्य भासा सर्वं विदं विभाति ॐ नमो हिरण्यबाहवे हिरण्यवर्णाय हिरण्यरूपाय हिरण्यपतेऽम्बिका पुनमा पशुपतिभ्यो नमो नमः ॐ निधनपतान्तिकाय नमः ॐ उद्बलिङ्गाय नमः ॐ आत्मलिङ्गाय नमः ॐ ज्वललिङ्गाय नमः ॐ परमलिङ्गाय नमः ॐ सुवर्णलिङ्गाय नमः ॐ श्रीनिधनपतान्तिकाय नमः त्वमेव माता च पिता त्वमेव त्वमेव बन्धुश्च सखा त्वमेव त्वमेव विद्या द्रविणं त्वमेव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव त्वमेव सर्वं मम देव देव ॐ शान्ति 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 हरि ओम। वृंदावन बिहारी लाल की जय, उमापति महादेव की जय, पवन सुत हनुमान की जय, सत्य सनातन धर्म की जय। जय जय सीताराम।
जय श्री राम। We're going to do a little pratna before I want to thank people. Beautiful, everybody. One voice, everybody. Om Bhut Bhuva Swaha Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhut Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deo Yona Prachodayat. Om Bhut Bhuva Swaha Tatsavitur Varenyam Bhargo Devasya Dhimahi Deo Yona Prachodayat. Om Shanti 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 Hari Om. Brahm Gayatri Devi Mata Ki Jai. Thank you so dearly, Prabhuji, Father, the Supreme, the Ultimate, the Perfect One, the greatest of all, the indweller in all hearts. Thank you for making it possible. The thought has to be born first before anything will happen. Anything you are doing in life, know that the indweller is the controller, and that thought has to be born. So the thought is born, and the Maharaj family, along with the Pandits, we put it into practice, having this beautiful Yagyashala. And I must say, the teachings, I am not a learned and disciplined person like Pandit Narayan Gosai, Tripathi, very many people. I am not an educated person, but I love my Rama. And my spiritual master, his teaching, wherever he is, choicest blessing upon you, Guruji. I want to thank my loved ones for the support. Without them, I don't think it's possible I alone. No, it's not possible. With everybody help who come in from near and far, we thank you so dearly for coming and making it possible to be here, to laugh, to clap, to sing. That beautiful name, that which is, one cannot really translate it. I talked to Pandit a while back. The name, 2 letters and a vowel, the educate people, 2 letters and a vowel, how you will translate that name, is the easiest name to say. And that name, that he came on earth and lived for us. Panditji, you don't think he could have put an end to Ravan just by glancing at him? Because Ravan is moving with his power? Yes, he could have do it. But no, he came on earth, born like a human being, and was given that name. And he came and he lived that blessed name. And we have the privilege this evening, the privilege for the last 3 evenings, to chant and sing his praise. That name can turn, I want to say, rock into water. But you must chant that name frequently, not today and tomorrow and sometime or when we run into depression. But that name should be at the tip of your tongue. You spill the panchamrit, Jai Shri Ram. You for waterfall, Jai Shri Ram. You go to the bathroom, Jai Shri Ram. You drive in, Jai Shri Ram. You go to the intersection, the man give you a bath, Jai Shri Ram. Hare, he's pagal, he's crazy. No. That name is causing you to think. That name is causing you to fight. That name will guide you, protect you in this life here and the here life after. Only if we, but you must have an urge, you must have a desire, you must have a longing. If not, you just go about your business, doing your thing day after day. And before you know it, so Elton John in England, when Princess Diana died, he sang this beautiful song, "Don't live your life like the candle in the wind." Jai Shri Ram, hear what this man said, Englishman, don't live your life like the candle in the wind. It can go out any moment. So when we have the privilege to come in Yagyashala like this, take the time to sing. That man or girl or lady or brother, whoever next to you, they really can't help you too much. They can give you a little guidance and say, boy, you should do this and you should do that and you should do that. But truth, when the day comes and you really lying in bed and so many things you want to fulfill your desire, what you had longing to do, you didn't have the time to do it. You don't want to reach that stage, friends, brothers and sisters. You don't want to reach that stage. For to know, he gave you a body. Look, I don't think I'm any different than he. He is caused me. When I was fixing the Yagyashala, you think it's really, Panditji, I was doing this for? I told my daughter, Sally, what I tell you? The God and Goddesses is dwelling here now. Just because we doesn't see it, we don't believe. Huh? The birds that come on here and migrate, they're living here. All these Canadian geese. And at a point in time, they're here for many months. They will be flowing. Are you going to say they were not here? No, they're here. Prabhu Ram is here, sitting, listening to us. But I got to cut it short because we don't have time. People, my grandchildren and all the children is hungry and so on, and we're going to keep it short. But I do not know when again we will have this privilege to come together as a family. The 7.5 billion people in the world, take time,